All right, Parashat Re'eh. All right, so we have a blessing and a curse as a choice. Which one do we want? I mean, I think it's obvious. Parshat Re'eh begins with a stark choice. See, I place before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing comes from listening to God's commandments. Curse comes from turning away. The Torah is reminding us that our moral lives are not neutral. Every decision either builds blessing or deepens the curse. Today, we too must see clearly. The Torah insists that we not blind ourselves with excuses or political slogans. We cannot call something righteous if it contradicts God's will. If God has a divine plan, we as humans cannot say, well, I've actually outsmarted him. This will work out better. Um, this is going to bring upon the curse. And it's that simple. So it talks about burning children. Later in the Parsha describes the abhorrent practice of nations who burn their sons and daughters in fire to their gods. God says he hates this. It's inconceivable to me that he's okay with children being burned as long as it's not to a deity or something that the people doing this have elevated to an unhealthy level. Okay, that being said, when bombs are dropped on children, when the lives of innocents are consumed in fire, can we deny that this echoes the very practice that the Torah abhors? Some may justify it in the name of power, nationalism, or a statehood that has been elevated to an unhealthy level. But the Torah is unambiguous. To sacrifice children for human ideology is not holiness, it is a desecration. To celebrate it, to make comments encouraging it publicly for the world to see, it's a chilul Hashem, no matter how you feel about it. Um, and the Torah warns us of those who appear as prophets or dreamers who perform signs. What's the purpose of this? Because if they perform a sign or a wonder and it comes true, then we're supposed to say, okay, I should listen to you. Um, you know better than me. You've got the power to decide. I'm a follower, not a leader. I'll do what you say. Okay, so they gain credibility with this. And then when they try to lead us after gods that we did not know, even if their promises come true, we are forbidden to follow them. It's actually a test from Hashem himself to see if we can be persuaded by these charismatic leaders that are going to tell us to do something that the Torah does not approve of. Hashem himself sending us this test to see, are we going to do what's right, stay committed to Torah, or are we going to follow the majority? We actually have a commandment in Torah: do not follow the majority to do evil. We cannot be viewed as doing what is a chalul Hashem, especially in this generation. The whole world has video cameras. They see what we're doing. So it's not just our locals seeing us doing what is a kiddush Hashem. The whole world has the opportunity to see the choice that we're making, kiddush or chilul. It's not the same when leaders today present themselves as protectors, saviors, or prophets of destiny. Is it not the same thing as these leaders presenting themselves this way? Yet they demand loyalty to causes that trample on God's commandments. We're faced with the same choice. Is this a test from Hashem to see if we'll do what's right, or if we'll follow the leaders that have convinced us they're the new prophets that we're supposed to be following? To follow them blindly is to fail the test. Um, a lot of people feel the need to be loyal, and we are supposed to be united, but not when people are going the wrong way. We cannot follow the majority to do evil, even if we are the only lone voice. We have to do what's right and stand up and do the right thing, even if it's not popular. The Parsha pushes the point further. Even if a brother, a child, or a beloved friend entices us to betray God's path. Um, how is this worded exactly here in 13:7? If your brother, your own mother's son, or your son or daughter, the wife of your bosom, or your closest friend entices you saying, come, let us serve other deities in this example. Come, let us do something that we know Hashem does not endorse. Um, do not give heed to him. Do not show him pity or compassion, and do not shield him. Take his life. Your hand should be the first against him to put him to death, and the hand of the rest of the people thereafter. Stone him to death, for he sought to make you stray from the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thus, all Israel, the nation of Israel, the religious nation in the covenant with Hashem, not the secular people, um, they will hear and be afraid, and such evil things will not be done again in your midst. They will not be convincing you to leave what the Torah is commanding. We must resist these people with absolute loyalty to Torah, even if the majority tramples on Torah. Our loyalty is to Hashem and the Torah that He gave us, not to our kin because of the blood that's in their veins. As we just read from Deuteronomy 13:7 that I just read, your own brother, the son of your mother. The Torah is stark here because it knows how persuasive human bonds and social pressure can be. I mean, there's plenty of experiments that people have done to see what social pressure can do. You know, what we saw in 2020 is an example of that. If the voice calling us to disobey God comes from within our own people, our own community, even our own family, we must still cling to the truth. This is difficult, but the Torah is teaching that loyalty to God's will transcends all other allegiances, including nationalism, family, or tribe. Right after the warning against idolatry, in that example, it says, you are children of Hashem your God, a holy people. So we need to behave in a holy way. That holiness is not abstract, it's lived in details. What we eat, how we conduct business, how we treat the vulnerable. This is a key word here. This is a very serious mitzvah here. Kashrut, you should not eat any abomination. Does it seem like what's going on in the secular state of it? You don't think there's any abominations hanging in the windows in the shops? Are people complying with this covenant there? Not the majority, I don't think. Economic justice, the remission of debts in the 7th year. It's not enough to say, okay, the 7th year is coming up. I'm going to have to give the debt if he doesn't repay. Legally, I have to give him the loan. That's not enough. You shall not harden your heart or close your hand against your needy brother. You have to do it with a full heart. You have to be happy to be taking care of those that are in need, because that's the obligation that we have. Now, obviously, your needy brother in your house takes priority over your needy brother in the next town over, which takes priority over your needy brother in a country on the other side of the planet. I mean, that's obvious. But we have the path is set there for us, how we are supposed to be, that Hashem wants. We're supposed to be caring about those who are needy, providing for the Levi, the orphan, and the widow, especially if orphans and widows are created as a result of us. But then we have an obligation to demonstrate compassion. Holiness is measured not in lofty declarations, but in whether we live with integrity, compassion, and discipline. A society that ignores these commandments cannot call itself holy, and for sure does not speak for the Torah. So the test of today, Re'eh, is not ancient history, it's a mirror. We see leaders demanding loyalty to causes that lead us away from God's commandments. We see suffering inflicted in ways that God explicitly condemns. We see people hardening their hearts against the poor, the orphan, when the Torah says the exact opposite. The Torah's formula is clear: a blessing if we obey, a curse if we turn away. Holiness if we safeguard God's words, desecration if we justify injustice in His name. This parsha is asking us, who do we listen to? Do we listen to voices that demand the sacrifice of children and the vulnerable for the sake of power? Or do we listen to the voice of a God who says, feed the orphan, protect the widow, release debts, open your hand, and be holy. This parsha begins with see. The Torah is pleading with us to open our eyes, not to be blinded by politics, ideology, false prophets, but to see the path of the blessing and to walk it with courage, even if it's not popular to do so.